So we are a few days into the Renegades launch, and now we have a little bit of time to see what is really cooking, what is really awesome, and overall just some of the sheer fun and shenanigans that you can do inside of the Renegades Sandbox inside of PvE. And in this video, I'm going to be highlighting a little bit of fun that every class can do between the new stuff that we got, buffs that we got to old stuff, and reworks and changes that we got to old stuff. There is a slice of life for any class, any main out there to go have some fun with in this sandbox right now. I do want to give myself a little bit of a disclaimer, just saying that I'm not guaranteed to talk about every single new awesome interaction in the game, any and everything that might be busted, because there's bound to be even more crazy fun yet to be discovered. First thing I do want to mention is that our old homeless Eliksni that you can trade your credits for junk, he's back down to having his price not be over 7 million credits. Get back to it if you need that refraction core for your lightsaber. Speaking of kinetic weapons, there is actually something that every class can take advantage of, or at least have a little bit of fun with, in terms of this new artifact mod called Kinetic Synthesis, where whenever you do enough kinetic damage, it actually is going to spawn this special type of ammo brick that only gives kinetic ammo, meaning this is the only brick that can both give your special weapon in your kinetic slot and your heavy sniper, or microcosm for that matter, in your heavy slot. But what's interesting about this mod is that you can actually use two snipers, maybe like a New Land Beyond and the new refurbished heavy sniper rifle, and then use a shoot to loot weapon in your energy slot, and you can just shoot to loot that ammo brick, and it's gonna fund your damage rotation for a long time. Not saying it's the most optimal or crazy rotation out there, but it's definitely a fun, albeit a little bit gimmicky way to play, and definitely a fun juggle rotation for you to try and take advantage of.
I'm a music nerd, so the music is also great because it's Star Wars. It's the best film composer. The best film composer of all time, inspiring the best video game composer of all time. What more could you ask for? You have John Williams inspiring Michael Salvatore.
True.
Like, holy fucking, like, orgasm.
Hold up. Look at General, bro.
An Ace server?
Yeah. This is your bro.
I don't see a general. Are you talking about?
So we'll talk about some hunter related fun that you can get into inside of the Renegade Sandbox. First thing that we got to bring back and mention, y'all know it, y'all play Final Shape, it's back, it's ready to kick some ass, and it's traumatizing the witness once again. Celestial Still Hunt is back on the menu for burst damage. It's absolute menace of a sniper rifle. Hunters everywhere rejoice as it is out here to frag out once again. As always, you can throw in a He's and Vengeance with elemental honing, a little bit of offloading holster for some really nice juicing, like it's 2024 all over again. And don't forget that in this sandbox, your golden gun finally gets buffed by Well of Radiance, so you don't have to worry about stepping out of Well when popping your golden gun to have it hitting at its hardest. As a matter of fact, you can stand directly in that Well of Radiance because the radiant buff from Well is 25% instead of your standard 20, means your golden gun's actually going to hit for a little bit more damage inside of a Well of Radiance than if you just have normal radiant. So my friend, don't be scared to enjoy and embrace that Well of Radiance greatness with your golden gun, big dog, because I know you've been wanting to. Now, we knew that Still Hunt was going to be really good again before this DLC even came out, just with what they're saying about it in the TWAB. However, something that we did not expect to be as good as it is inside of the Renegade Sandbox, hear me out. Standard Void, O-Rig's Moebius Quiver with Leviathan's Breath. The reason why I'm even mentioning this to begin with is because the Moebius Quiver buff will apply to your levies while it's active, right? Basically, whenever you shoot a Moebius Quiver, there's a new little bar on the left side of your screen, and while it's up, it's essentially buffing your Void Bow's damage. That includes Leviathan's Breath. So you pop the boss with your first set of 3-shot tether, plop, 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 and you'll notice that your Levi's Breath just hits for way higher numbers while you're in the midst of actually going through your O-Rig tether. When it falls off, you just shoot the boss again, plop, 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 with your Levi's Breath, falls off, and then you can finish it off one more time. And then after you shoot your third volley of arrows from your Moebius Quiver, then the buff will fall off. But dude, you can get a solid like 90-95k in that short time in which you fire your first shot of your Moebius Quiver, and by the time you finish it, it's actually pretty darn impressive and something that I was not expecting to be as good as it is. And even if no one uses it during day one, I figured I would have mentioned it because like right now, maybe for solo flawless in the future, hey man, Moebius, Quiver, Levis, Breath is pretty darn good on Void Hunter. Something else that's worth mentioning that's good on Hunter, not saying like this is like meta defining or anything, but just something I want any Hunter mains to know about is the Uncivil Discourse Blaster hand cannon. It's a special hand cannon similar to the Forerunner, but it really does work really well with Lucky Pants for that nice little burst of damage while you have a legally modded holster up and activated ready to go. It's not too shabby and definitely worth looking into. Just figured I'd throw that in there, a nice little 2 cents for you. Now for the God's Glorious Shield Basher Titans, we got some juice for you as well. First thing I do want to mention is I believe there is now a new Peacekeeper Titan SMG King in terms of SN slot for PK Titans. And no, it does not involve running double SMG. With the new Fast Talker Balance Heated Blaster SMG, there's a setup that allows for you to shoot this thing infinitely. So for your column 3 perk for the Fast Talker, you're definitely going to want to get cooling bubbles, as this is going to cool down your weapon, reduce its heat whenever you pick up an elemental pickup or an orb of power. And in the 4th column, you're obviously going to want to get target lock, as this is a Peacekeeper Titan SMG, and you're going to be shooting this bad boy for a very long period of time. And then if you're able to get a shiny variant of this SMG and get the other origin traits, that is going to greatly help you keep this SMG at low heat for free without even having to try, but it still works even without it. But the other origin trait really does help it a lot. Now you pair this SMG with like Touch of Thunder Pulse Nades is pretty decent, but on stasis, with those crazy stasis charges, you can make them in such crazy abundance and they track towards you. That's going to really allow for some magic to happen, especially if you have a Warlock in your fire team that has the Bleak Watcher turrets. That will allow you to make infinite stasis shards on one enemy. A little food for thought for you if you like Peacekeeper Titan playstyle. And now I'm pretty sure you guys are aware, but Sentinel Shield Super on just raw Void Titan is actually disgusting with how much damage it's able to do. You're able to get off 2 throws of this Giga Shield throw, and each of them hit for about 17,500 damage, meaning your super can do 35,000, which is pretty darn respectable to say the least. And if you pair that with like Ursa's, you're just gonna get your super back so often, so fast. Seriously, if you're a Titan main and you haven't tried the new Sentinel Shield, it is so good after its changes and definitely worth checking out. However, something that you may not be as aware of is on Prismatic Titan, if you are looking at anything that makes a grapple point, let's just use the Navigator Catalyst for example, and you have a prismatic grenade just equipped, not even having to be fully charged, after about a half second or so, it's going to give you the option to actually use that grapple point, even though you don't have a grapple grenade. And yes, this will allow you to do grapple melee damage combos. But did you know that for some reason it's also working and proccing with knockout? Yes, you can run a Prismatic Titan that doesn't even have access to a grapple grenade and use grapple melee combos with knockout. Pair this with Worm Gods and a high grenade and melee stat, and you see where this is going. If you are a Titan main and you did not know about this, well, here you go, because this is pretty disgusting behavior. That is what Titans are best known for now, aren't they? Bro. Dog. I think. All right, baby. Warlock season time. So we know that the winner's Guile definitely got a nice rework, having the Warlord Sigil perk stack up to ×10. And also, if the timer goes down, let's say at 9 stacks, it doesn't go down to 0, it just goes down to 8. It stacks down a lot slower. So then building up the perk is way less of a pain in the butt, and also keeping those stacks up. On top of that, when you do hit ×10, you get Warlord's Fury ready at the go. And when Warlord's Fury is ready, you get drastically increased melee regen to allow you to really spam these charged melees off in a nice little burst. Not too shabby of an exotic change, and definitely worth checking out, especially compared to their previous form. Also, I believe the new Warlock exotic helmet, the Deimosuffusion, has a little bit of play here and can be pretty unique.
So whenever you have a strand super equipped, whenever you go and cast your rift, you're going to suspend any nearby combatants. The suspend is going to deal a dot damage, basically, you know, some good damage over time. It's going to heal you in the process as well. And then any targets that break free from the suspension are going to suffer additional damage. And defeating those suspended targets will heal you a moderate amount. Pair that with something like Weaver's Call, and every time you cast your rift, you're just essentially ripping out a suspending, threadling nuke just from your rift. Definitely promotes an interesting playstyle, and I definitely believe there is some play for this exotic in any given unique situation. It's definitely not trash and worth looking into, playing around with it just a little bit, and in due time you might find yourself running it. Now, an exotic that will definitely get you off of Well of Radiance and have you playing some different light subclasses, mainly just Void, are these new and improved Nothing Manacles, bro. Nothing Manacles have been on a hot streak of catching some really impressive buffs, and now, inside of the Renegades Sandbox, you are able to get 3 scatter grenade charges. That's insane. With Chaos Accelerant equipped, you don't even worry about charging these bad boys either. They hit like crazy. They're going to weaken any enemy they touch, and the grenade regen you get back from these are so impressive. And on top of that, now, whenever they defeat an enemy, they're going to spawn these void-seeking projectiles. Think of the Graviton Lance projectiles. It spawns those, and it has the ability to infinitely cascade and chain over and over again, provided that there's more and more enemies spawning in. This is a very strong ad clearing setup. Pair that with a nice Nova Bomb with your super, so you have some burst damage, and it's just such a fun playstyle. We've already made a build video going over the Nothing Manacles build. I used it the entirety of the campaign, and it's been such a fun build to run inside of Renegades. Definitely check out the new and improved Nothing Manacles and the sheer absurdity that they provide for you. And also, something else worth mentioning that we got is our own form of a hot swap exotic to juice up the damage of one of your one-off supers, that being the Mataiodoxia for our Needlestorm super. This exotic is now going to be treated as a Curus of the Falling Star chess piece, but Warlock edition. Whether you're on Raw, Strand, or Prismatic, whenever it comes time for you to yeet your Needlestorm, you hot swap over to the Mataiodoxia real quick. Make sure that setup has both high super and high grenade, as the thread links from the Needlestorm will get scaled from your grenade stat, and you'll be having a very strong one-off super that doesn't require any setup like Star Eater Scale Nova Bombs did, and it's just a nice new tool that we can add in our toolkit. You know I have to mention it. Now, something that you might have not been expecting, I know I wasn't, was the rise in power of the new and improved Stormdancer's Brace exotic chest piece. This got changed to where now hits with Storm Trance will proc Ascending Amplitude to increase its damage, no longer needing kills, making it a pretty dang strong super for any damage phase that is long or requires sustained damage. You pair this chest piece with Storm Trance on Prismatic Warlock, Faceted Dominance with a Vortex Grenade or your Transcendence Grenade, Faceted Courage to buff your arc damage from your super, throw in Helion, Finality's Augur, and then you can even throw in the 2 Rocket Pulses. The new arc one has Blast Distributor. That'll give you, I think, like 65 grenade stat when dealing splash damage if it's enhanced, which will boost the damage of your Helion that is going to be ticking while you're in your super on top of your Finality Augur turret. And then when you're out of your super, that turret and your 2 Rocket Pulses will help gen another super right back for you, allowing for you to deal a lot of damage without having to dump all of your ammo. And if you do dump all of your ammo, you're going to be getting yourself another super and dealing even more damage. This was definitely something that I have to mention to all my fellow Warlock mates out there. Stormdancer's Brace Storm Trance on Prismatic Warlock is doing some really impressive things, and it should definitely be on your radar of builds to try out.
There you have it, boys. Some of the heat that's going on inside of Renegades. Remember, we do be streaming a lot over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KRee, KWREE. As always, I do got to give a shout out to the members of the channel. If you guys ever want to get your name mentioned in videos, all you got to do is become a tier 1 member of the channel. Let me give a huge shout out, huge thank you to our tier 3 member, Mr. KJ, my man. Hope you're doing well. Getting ready for that raid boss and takedown, brother man. Shout outs to Pikachu, who is our longest tenured member, going on 9 months. Much love, much love. Hope you are enjoying Renegades. And our newest member, Perplexity, who is a tier 2 member and our most recent. Hope you're doing well as well, brother man. Appreciate you much.
much love, much love. Always got to give a huge appreciation to the channel members, going that extra mile of support. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know what you are enjoying most so far inside of Renegades. I'll see your beautiful faces in the next one. Adios.